Talking Formula One, we are back and it is British Grand Prix week. How are you doing, Chris?
Morning, all as well.
Fantastic. Recently back from the Styrian Hills, of course. You went to the Austrian Grand Prix. Did you have a
Yep,
good time?
I had a very good time. Melted,
Mm,
sweated, but enjoyed every minute of it.
fantastic. I think, toasty was the word. It was
Oh,
certainly was a hot one, wasn't it? And that became quite apparent when both Cadillacs caught fire within the first 5 laps. I think that was.
oh, mate,
Yeah.
the smell of Bottas's brakes. Jesus
Oh, really?
Christ, they were. Yeah. Because we could see them. We could see it on fire as it went past us. To be fair,
Oh,
and
wow.
the smell lingered for about 15 minutes. It was pungent.
It was fantastic because at Bottas, I'm on fire. All right, Bottas is out. Perez, I'm on fire. Okay, cool. And then Lawson smoking the cockpit as well. What is going on? All of the cars are going to overheat.
Cadillacs had a stinker, didn't they? That whole weekend, they just couldn't get going. Perez, I think he was only out 3 times the whole weekend.
Yeah, that was a terrible weekend for them. But George Russell did get his championship challenge a little more on track. The first race win for him since Australia. There we go. I was on me over a second there. First race win for George since Australia. Second race in a row. He's now finished back ahead of Kimi Antonelli. It's closed up a little bit again, hasn't it? I mean, there's still a little bit of distance, but we were never writing George Russell off and never writing George out of this. But I think it's very much game on now. He does seem to have found his form again, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Austria's always been a very strong track for him. Historically, he's already a previous winner there. So, arguably in the race, he wasn't the quickest car. He struggled towards the end of his stints. It was quite noticeable. I noticed he had less traction coming out of turn 3 towards his end of his stints. That's where near we were, and it was quite noticeable how he was a little bit squirrely sometimes on the end of his stints. Max was always closing at end of stints, so yeah. But was he managed just to get to the end? I don't know. Got absolutely lucked in massively at quali. I mean, mate.
Instant red. It should have been an instant red.
It's car in a barrier is an instant double yellow without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's what Antonelli thought. That's why he lifted. Well, he abandoned the lap. Sorry, he lifted. But he stroked in. I mean, you could say lucked in, but actually no. He was quick thinking from himself. Really, he saw it was just a yellow, and but it got this. Actually, it's got to a point in his championship where he's got to sort of take those risks.
Yeah.
If he did abandon that lap, he was behind Kimi. He was behind both Ferraris. I think it's behind Max, I think, at the time as well. That's a lot of cars he's got to pass. Kimi showed he wasn't plain sailing passing cars. So yeah, he's I just feel like Kimi's just doing what he needs to do at the minute, though. He's finishing on the podiums. He's still racking up the points.
He's doing everything well, isn't he? I mean, he may not be getting the race win the past couple of races, but he's doing everything in his power that he can. I mean, Barcelona was obviously no fault of his own. He probably would have finished ahead of George there had it not been for his DNF. So he's doing everything he can, and this title is still very much wide open.
But we had we had another. Was it a Mercedes battery issue? Williams. Was that? I haven't really looked into it. But was that signs? The DNF was down to the shutting off engine.
Yeah. It's another Mercedes problem. This time it affected Williams. They seem to have really got away with it lightly compared to the other Mercedes teams. McLaren have had no end of issues. Mercedes themselves as well. I think it's because the Williams just doesn't go very fast. It just doesn't cause any problems. But it was a dismal weekend for them. Oh, I bloody hope it works because it's getting painful now.
Just interesting. Battery problems are still persisting, and it's not. You can't put it down now to a McLaren package issue or etc. It is obviously an inherent issue with the PU and battery unit because all teams are now having the issue.
Yeah, it is. It's a frustrating one, isn't it? Because it's, I mean, not in the case of Williams because they're in a world of their own, but like with the likes of McLaren and Mercedes having these problems, they're robbing us of pretty good fights because the teams like Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren, they're very, very close to each other. And I want to see this fight, and I want to see them pull Mercedes in. I think one of the biggest disappointments for me of the weekend was Ferrari because, Hamilton smashed it in Barcelona. Charles Leclerc was on pole and thought he was going to get pole before George popped up there. So front row start. And then was nowhere in the race. The best bit for them was rolling the clock back to 2021 and having that incredible battle with Verstappen.
That was good. That was very good.
It's so good to watch. The amount of times I thought one of them is going to be off in the gravel or there's going to be contact somewhere. It was definitely 2021 vibes again. But yeah, they were a letdown. And then it's just like, you know what? Have a pit stop. Don't need to, but we'll give you one.
They were massively suffering from dig. They suffered the most from the heat, which was surprising, really, because you wouldn't inherently say this season that they've been the biggest chewer of tyres.
No.
That was it. And then the way the 2 laps came out for qualifying was because they were nowhere. They were absolutely nowhere. And then somehow they both put it on, first and second until Russell turned up. But that was kind of the only highlight of the weekend, really. Lewis did a good job with what he could do in terms of the package. But yeah, I was surprised how it was. This weekend is the weekend I think everybody's expected them to fall off a little bit because of the nature of Silverstone will be such a PU determined circuit, and they obviously haven't got the grunt.
No, it's a tricky one, isn't it? And this one is going to play right into the hands of Mercedes again. And if you believe the Aguo thing, Red Bull. But did you hear Verstappen? He was saying that there's going to be a struggle because there's just going to be no battery. He was doing it on the simulator and he was laughing apparently because it was just absolutely terrible for the battery aspect. That doesn't fill me with confidence for what we're expecting this weekend.
It's going to be a lot of. It's going to be Australia again. I think it's going to be a lot of lifting and coasting. Brilliant. Because of the nature of the track, where there's not many hard braking areas, is there really? What is there? Probably the end
of the lap, really, isn't there? And sort of the first twiddly bit.
Apart from turn 3, it's not. That's probably the only stamp on a brake pedal you do all lap. Really,
the only place I could think about is at the end of the Wellington Straight when you come into sort of the old pit complex.
You've got from turn 3 until the second from last corner where you don't really hit brake pedal very hard.
No,
you do accelerate and go down 2 long straights.
Yeah, so I can imagine lots of super clipping. They're going to go through Maggotts and Beckett's, and then they'll cut the audio or cut the camera before the car has a chance. And then as you get in towards the end of the Wellington Straight, they'll cut cameras, cut sounds, and then they're going through cops as well. So there's going to be a lot of super clipping this weekend, and it's going to be some people thinking, "Oh, great racing." It won't be. There'll be
a lot of overtakes, I think, this weekend.
Yeah. I can imagine it'll be a Mercedes 1-2 out front,
especially obviously down the Wellington Straight, and then back around the National Straight. The old National Pit Straight, that'll be where most of the switcheroonies happen, I think. Yeah.
It's I don't know. I love Silverstone, but it's definitely not suited for these kinds of cars, is it? When Max is coming out on media and saying that, I've driven it on the simulator and it's laughable. Fantastic, brilliant. I can't wait to see that then. Qualifying will be a joke because no car will actually be able to go to its full potential, so Williams could stand a chance. And then, like ever. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to that because it's a race I do get excited about. It's the British Grand Prix. It's one of my favourite. It's one of the best races on the calendar. Iconic. There's been a handful of dismal races, but more often than not, it's an absolute banger. So
no rain forecast.
No, it is going to be nice and dry, nice and warm. So there's going to be no excitement from unpredictable weather, which does make a British Grand Prix so much more exciting. I'm out on Sunday morning, so I'm going to have to rush home to sit in front of the TV with a beer to watch that one.
It's not until 3. It's an hour. We get an extra hour. Not in Europe because it's not in European time.
Good. I think we're out until early afternoon. So, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it does stink of a Mercedes dominant track, to be honest.
Just hoping McLaren have a good, their updates have worked. So they were a bit of a strange one in Austria. Lando was absolutely nowhere.
They were very anonymous,
He
weren't
was
they?
just floating around. But Piastri's second half of the race was very good. He suddenly come alive after his second stop, and you thought Hamilton was going to catch him, but he gapped Hamilton nicely, and then so.
I don't know where to place or what to think of McLaren this year because they won the sprint race was it Miami? They won the sprint.
Yeah, and they should have won the race.
Should have won the race. Japan as well. Piastri should have won that, but then they're just absolutely nowhere. Like Lando was totally anonymous this weekend, and apart from that last stint, it was a very quiet one from Piastri as well. And you're more often than not, you're looking sort of between 5th and 10th to find at least one of them.
No, well, Friday they were looking pretty promising on Friday. They were the quickest, pretty much. And then Saturday, they just didn't turn up. And then Sunday, they didn't turn up either, really. Orlando didn't really. He just sort of plodded around. Him and Gasly were just knocking around on their own. You just see them getting past and not a lot happening, really.
Still having a good time. What was it like? I've got to ask, what was it like seeing that, the mechanical perfection of the AMR 26 going around the track? What was that like seeing that?
So where we were was at the end of turn 3, just on the exit. And I managed to get. We got there very early, 6 a.m. in the morning, to get so we could see turn 1 all the way up to turn 3, but you don't see the actual turn 3. Exit turn 3 all the way down to turn 4, not see turn 4, and then 5, 6, and 7 loop. You can see it all right. So. And all you saw after about 3 laps is the whole of the cars going around the little Winfield section, and then there's the AMR going past us going to turns 4.
It's so poor.
Oh, it was slow. It was slow, but you can tell, like in qualifying, how it was noticeably how slow they were compared to the others, even in like qualifying trim.
Well, I can think of some terrible F1 cars in my time. The 2019 Williams was awful. The 21 Haas was terrible. The not Russian flag one. And I remember seeing that in Silverstone in 2021. And they all started fairly close as they came around lap 1. And then it got to lap 2 and lap 3 and lap 4. And each time that Haas was dropping further and further back to ironic cheers from the crowd. And even that was better than this Aston. Because it is just woeful. It's slow, it's overweight, it's underpowered.
Yeah, I read this morning that Newy's got the excuse book out now, hasn't he? It didn't start until March. I mean, these regulations just crept up on everybody, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a massive surprise.
It didn't start until March. There's something to do with the wind tunnel. Then he went on to his own personal health. Like, I understand he might have had some personal, issues with illness, but there's probably like 600 people in that factory. I mean, someone else could have taken over the mantle. Yeah.
And he was saying, was it Adrian Newey? I think it was Adrian Newey that said that you can trace some of that equipment back to the team's Jordan days. But, well, it's not stopped them developing semi-competitive cars in the past. 23 Aston came out of there.
I personally would have credence with that if we were talking about Cadillac. Cadillac, this time last year, were just standing in a warehouse looking at stuff.
Yeah.
Aston Martin have been in this game under different guises for many, many years. They can't use the excuse, some of our equipment were outdated.
This is the difference I find between Williams and Aston. I mean, Vowles came into Williams and he said this equipment is so out of date, and they're still using XL for stuff.
But they still built a competitive car.
They still built a competitive car. They've had some dismal seasons, but they've had some good seasons, over the history. And Williams is a team that very much struggled for money, and they couldn't afford to update what they had in their factory. Aston have got a seemingly bottomless pit of money. They've got state-of-the-art facilities, and they're qualifying a second slower than a team which has only done a handful of races. And like you say, this time last year, we're just standing around twiddling their thumbs, really. It's It's embarrassing. And yeah, the excuses they're coming out with now. So yeah, they're checking off all the excuses now. But there's supposed to be a big upgrade coming in Hungary.
It's pretty much a big spec car, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, you can throw all the excuses you want. At the end of the day, they've not done a good enough job. Simple as that, there, man. Honda. Yeah. You know, you can throw stuff at Honda, and that it's not the first time they've come into a new regulation woefully underprepared. Yes, they come good eventually, but sometimes they're only hurting their own brand, aren't they, by doing it like this way?
Yeah.
You know, we expected the Audis to be, you know, if the Audis turned up vibrating the hell out of the chassis, you'd probably go, well, okay. Yeah. But they haven't. They've turned up with an okay engine.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that Audi have taken over an existing outfit, obviously in Sauber, a well-respected and well-equipped team. But it's a brand new engine in the back of that car. And it's tricky with Audi because they've made a really solid midfield car that's more than capable of scoring points. But unfortunately, it is just so volatile and it is just so unreliable. They've scored, 1 or 2 points? They've scored a handful of points, if that, so far this year, because that car seems to like finishing in 11th.
But that, I suppose, is a little bit expected as well. So that, as we go back to Aston Martin, everything we see from Aston Martin, you're just like, how?
Yeah, this is it. I mean, they're the biggest embarrassment of the season. I mean, I know there's obviously all the stuff about Williams and, you know, don't care about these previous seasons. It's all about 26, and look what they've done. But look at Aston. You know, they have all the equipment, all the knowledge, all the expertise.
In the fan zone, they have the original F1 show car that they showed it with, and we were looking at it, and one of my mates just went, "So if you paint that green, that'll go faster than Aston Martin." And generally, it probably could.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I've got a VW Passat in my driveway. If I paint that green, I'll give it a go. Because it's just woeful. I mean, did I see that Alonso got lapped nearly by Williams? Was I imagining things?
Well, it's a short lap. A lot of them got lapped. So,
yeah. I was sure I saw that Alonso was in danger, or maybe did, or was very close to getting lapped by the one remaining Williams.
Yeah.
It got the last time Williams lapped someone.
Yeah, it got to about the 6th lap, and I just ignored the Aston Martins.
Yeah.
Although the one time I did actually see them, Alonso and Stroll had a little battle at turn 3.
Oh wow!
And Stroll nudged Alonso near the grass. I don't know how it went down to, but
the safety car's out. Oh no, that's the actual. That's the F1 car. Never mind.
Yeah, that's half of that. Right? There's a lot of blue lights every time they went through.
Yeah, oh dear.
But
not a good scene.
Well, actually, there's one more thing actually. What I noticed from the weekend, which I took from watching F2 and F3. F2, 100% Solov will be in F1 next year.
Yeah, what a driver.
Yeah, I was actually quite impressed with the main race on the Sunday. Baking it. Track temperature was like 65 degrees. It was absolutely melting. And he I think he was qualified on pole. He was second. Anyway, he was leading the first couple of laps anyway. But he realised that the car behind, who was the British guy, Alex Dunn, Irish guy, sorry, was pushing his tyres hard, and he knew that these were going to go off. And his tyre management was, he went back to third at some point, but knew that he'd have the life at the end of it, and then controlled the race when everybody else was falling back. I think Dunn went back to like 5th or 6th. He literally fell.
Yeah.
But I was mildly impressed of his control of the race, knowing full well that you can't win it in the first few laps.
Yeah.
Especially they have super softs and softs. So he started on the super softs, which literally were like after about 3 laps, might as well just ran on steelies. But I was impressed, and he was all weekend. He was quick, and he's got a bit of money behind him as well. So.
Where do you see him going though? Potentially, I mean, there's.
He's taking Lawson's place, 100%. I was
going to say, because he's a Red Bull junior, isn't he? So
yeah.
Lawson will be out of it because they seem pretty happy and pretty content with Lindblad.
Yeah, well, Lindblad's done a good job, and he's for a first season, he's not been put to the sword by Lawson. You know, they're pretty well matched. They finished 9th and 10th, didn't they, on Sunday?
Yeah.
Which is all the car can do. That's all they ask. as a rookie.
Mm.
Lawson's been in it 2.5 seasons. Been in Red Bull's car for 3 races, but I would expect Soloff to be in F1 next year.
I'd like to see it, and then there's still rumours going on about the likes of Esteban Ocon and his future.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure where Red Bull could put him otherwise, because obviously all the other teams like Haas have a relationship with Ferrari. Audi have their own driver program. Cadillac obviously want to try and get Colton Herta into there. He was dog, by the way, he's rubbish, but
he was trundling around in the back, wasn't he?
I don't think he'll make it, but they want an American, which you can understand. Williams obviously their own thing, so you can't really see where else they can place him. They can't place him like you would. So I can only see him taking Lawson. Also, Bulgaria are pushing because they've got a new track now. Aren't they? They are looking to get the F1 calendar. There was quite a lot of Bulgarians I saw knocking around with Bulgarian flags, so it's obviously a growing sport around there.
Yeah, nice. Good to see.
But yeah, he looks. He reminds me of the Teo Porchers, but obviously Teo Porcher lucked out when Sauber sold to Audi, didn't he? He was pretty much nailed on for a drive, and then Audi brought Sauber, and we're like, no, we want to go our German route, and unfortunately, never quite got in.
It's frustrating for the likes of because there was talents that I fully expected to see in Formula One. Felipe Drugovich is another one. Teo Porcher.
Yeah, Drugovich should have been an F1.
Yeah, he's still around the scene, isn't he? I think he's still a reserve.
I think he left this year, didn't he, to go and do Endurance Championship. He spent 2 years as a reserve driver, and he when you're not going to get in, you know when the time's up.
It'd be interesting to see sort of on the grid next year, because from what I've seen of him, he's been fantastic.
Dino Bujanovic was decent on Friday. He didn't do much wrong, but one of those I don't see going F1. You kind of got to have like Solov, you've got to have a big back, you've got to have a bit of a buzz about you.
Yeah.
A little bit of dough does also help, and also the right opportunities at the right time. Lawson's probably the only person under threat. You can't see anybody else. I'm not really seeing anybody else in F2 who would step up, if I'm honest. All the rest of them are all stuck. Maybe done into Alpine if Colapinto doesn't quite, don't fancy. But
mind you, Colapinto's been doing quite well of late. He's been more than matching Gasly in the start of the season.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah,
strong, but
Alpine also depends if they sell, doesn't it? I mean, they're trying to sell. Who comes in? Can they get another car manufacturer or someone else? Someone who's going to have different ideas, possibly.
Yeah.
Are they going to go back to? Sorry, they're going to go back to Alonso, as the big rumours are all knocking around.
I was only going to say, there's this big talk, isn't there? And Gucci's coming in next year as a title sponsor, and Flavio Briatore, of course, Fernando's manager, is at Alpine, and apparently he's been trying to get Fernando back. Fernando's saying that he's committed to Aston, wants to win a world championship at Aston, either driving for them or not. Mate, come on. You know full well what's going to happen. You're going to retire, and the following season, that car is going to be a world beater. I'd love to see Fernando go for a couple more years. I think 27 will be his last, because he is pushing on a bit now.
I think there's no doubting his talent, but it comes to a point where him knocking around in a back market car is generally just taken away from young talent who need that leg into a car.
I mean, he's not going to get himself back into a McLaren, a Ferrari, or go to a Red Bull, is he? Those days are gone. And these sort of cars, the likes of Cadillac, the likes of Aston this year, you would expect to find a rookie to sort of cut their teeth before judging if they can move up. We saw it over the years, with Russell and his seasons at Williams, Charles Leclerc and a Sauber, or an Alfa as it was back in the day. That's why it was quite surprising that Cadillac went for both Bottas and Perez. I was thinking one or the other, and then a rookie to get in. And again, cut the teeth, find out if they can compete. So you got 3 out of 4 seats. I mean, you could argue Stroll as well, but he's not.
What's the motivation for Stroll as well? I mean, apart from it being an oldie every weekend, you kind of got to sit there and think, what's your motivation if the car is this?
He's such a difficult one because it's like he's not going to get a drive anywhere else. You know, the 4 out of 4 seats, those 2 cars at the back, or 4 cars, sorry, at the back of the grid, the 2 Cadillacs, the 2 Astons. In each team, you could have 1 experienced driver and 1 rookie. You'd imagine it would be Stroll and a rookie because Alonso would probably retire. And out of the 2 of them this year in the Cadillac, Perez and a rookie. But I love Fernando, and if I had my way, Fernando would be racing until he's well into his 50s, if that's how long it takes to give him a 3rd championship. But the time is going to come soon where he's got to move aside. And it breaks my heart to say it because I love the guy, but he's 44 now, and the car, unless this B spec car they're bringing in Hungary is an absolute rocket ship leading into next year, they're not going to get anywhere soon. Metal Jace, welcome in. If Alonso moves, Aston will probably win the championship the following season. You know it's going to happen, don't you? Because it's Fernando. He is always wrong place, wrong time.
As we found out, he's got the option at the end of the year. He's got an ambassadorial role, hasn't he? Which he can convert into a race if he wants to. It's all in his hands, really, what he wants to do. So he's got options which he can decide. Yeah, I think Aston Martin, Ben Stroll as well.
Yeah, there's got to come a time where surely Lawrence Stroll's got to think, my son isn't really, we've got ambitions to be world champions. My son isn't really going to cut this for us. I can't be relying on Fernando all the time.
Who would they get there? Would they be able to poach? I don't know, a Piastri or a Russell or a Sainz. Sainz. I think Sainz is probably the only person at the minute on the grid who is probably the one that's going to break his contract. Who isn't up for renewal, but would move mid-contract because I think he was sold the dream and given 5p at Williams.
If you're Sainz, you're going to be pissed off, aren't you? Because they could have said, right, okay, we know 2025 is going to be a struggle, but 2026 you're going to.
Well, he turned Audi down, didn't he? He turned Audi down. Yeah. Audi wanted him, and Audi obviously is currently you. I think Sainz was a bit short-sighted, wasn't he? I think he went for Audi might be in 5 years a championship-winning car, but actually got that long, so he's gone to Williams, which is just about an F2 championship car, and he's now thinking, where can I go? But where can Sainz even go? He's not.
I think both of them are like it. Sainz and Albon. Where would they go?
If Max doesn't move, the top 4 teams just are not moved. That's it. Their driver lineup is what they are. They're not changing. They only change if Max changes. So you're not going to progress further than where he is, really.
No, and like you say, Audi's a fantastic prospect, but for a couple of years' time, when they've sorted reliability out, they've pushed forward. Cadillac aren't doing anything anytime soon. Aston,
who knows?
And unless Williams just shave 3.5 tons off this car and suddenly it's quick again, if you're Sainz and Albon, you are going to be very, very irritated because you thought, right, okay, 2025 is going to be a struggle, but 26 is where it's at, and we could be fighting for podiums on a regular basis. Wins, who knows? On a regular, if they've got this right, and they got it so wrong. It's terrible. If Sainz is probably looking at Audi going, bastards.
Yeah, an upgrade. The thing is, an upgrade for Williams isn't a new rear diffuser or rear wing or whatever. It's actually just shaving some weight. That's an upgrade.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? When you want a team to bring an upgrade, it's a new front wing, it's a new diffuser, a new underfloor, something like that. We think this is going to give us 3.5 tenths a lap. All they're doing is just shaving weight off existing parts. There's no new parts coming. It's just purely weight shaving, and that's not going to get you anywhere because you're still on spec 1 parts, just a little bit later.
No, because they've already said that they've got a fundamental issue with the car, so they're not going to be developing the car that much because they have to obviously fix the fundamental issue. So, the only real best way you can go to upgrade the car is to shave the weight first, because that's where you'll instantly find lap time by dumping some weight, and then you try and find the fundamental flaw of the car and fix it.
I was reading Williams' tweet after the race. It said, "Do you have any questions for James Vowles after the Austrian Grand Prix? Post them here." And he's not going to want to read any of them out because there was nothing good. It was all, why is the car so crap? Where has it gone so wrong? Why did you say this? Why have you done that? What the hell are you doing? Etc. And worse with choice language. Yeah, he's not going to want to do that segment. But anyway, so we're getting to the end of our time. So as we said, it's British Grand Prix week this week. One of the greatest races of all time. It's going to be Super Clip Fest. It's going to be passing and repassing fest. So what's your podium in reverse order?
Podium, I think I'm going to go with the same 3 that were on the podium last week. However, I'm going to go for Max, George, Kimi. Kimi the win.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go for Norris 3rd, and then a 1-2 for Mercedes. I think Russell ahead of Kimi.
I think the Red Bull update has definitely improved the car in corners.
Oh, for sure.
So, I expect them to be competitive, and Max being Max. Didn't even get to talk about Max at Austria. I mean, he just turns up in Austria. I'm not surprised. They bloody absolutely adore him over there.
Yeah, it turns out does the business. He could be driving an actual skip, and he'll get it on the podium. Fair play to him.
Yeah, you think Hadjar had a solid race in 6th?
Yeah,
literally a very solid race.
He did it. He's doing everything that's required of him as a number 2, isn't he, at Red Bull? And he's staying within touching distance. Yeah, Q1 was it Q1 or Q2 that was a little shaky when Verstappen was in the pits?
Yeah, it took a punt on him.
Yeah, very fortunate. But there we go. That brings us to the end of our little show this week. So we are back next week. We'll look back at what happened at the British Grand Prix. Hopefully it was an absolutely fantastic race. So thank you very, very much for watching. We shall see you next week. Take care, all of you. I've been Steve. He's been Chris.